soggy weather today. This was supposed to come yesterday. I guess it's a little late, but it's here. And with that in mind, what's going on today? I guess all the CES 2023 news is almost all over after every company showcased their offerings. I guess this one I read was kind of interesting. People constantly talk about flying cars and all that. It's a matter of who's gonna be first in terms of one, the tech, and then two, who's gonna actually get approved to have this go on regular, let's just say, I don't know, roads and stuff like that. So this one's kind of interesting. This one says, ASKA A5 debuts at CES 2023 Las Vegas. ASKA A5 is a real flying car that combines the convenience of an automobile with the safety, ease, and efficiency of a VTOL and STOL flight. And they say here it's a 4-seater and the size of an SUV. It's vertical takeoff and landing, short takeoff and landing, full electric system with range extender, flight range up to 250 miles, flight speed up to 150 miles per hour. Now here too, they're saying their goal is to have this up by 2026 or so. And it says our target is to obtain highway certification with a speed of 70 miles per hour while in drive mode. The first deliveries may be limited to local roads. Is anyone actually expecting this to be a reality by 2026 where people could literally have their quote flying cars on a regular highway and all that? It's interesting because, as mentioned, it is more about getting the approval to actually operate these vehicles. And even in a lot of their promotional materials, they're saying they can't show you, I guess, the thing actually live because obviously they don't have the waivers and all that yet. It says on their site too, you can pre-order this, but limited edition pricing, $789,000. Yeah, way out of reach for the regular person, and you have to put a $5,000 deposit on this item, and they're expecting to deliver it by 2026. It actually makes me wonder what happens if they don't get the waivers and approvals and people bought this and got it. Would they just refund everyone? They do indicate here too where when you buy their package, you get a personalized license plate and a pilot license, I guess, training program or something to fly this, since this is a manned aircraft per se if you actually fly it, which kind of makes me wonder in terms of licensing. So does that mean, for example, if you're on the ground, you need a driver's license? If you're on the air, you need a pilot's license? And if this thing, let's just say it can fly autonomously by itself, do you then need like a drone license? Man, that would be really confusing, huh? But either way, would you expect this to be coming in the near future in 2026? And then I read this, which was kind of interesting because apparently someone was flying his drone around an eagle, and then in this case, the eagle actually took the drone out, and it kind of made people talk about things. For example, should it be banned and all that? Which is kind of interesting to think about, just from my personal experience and stuff too. Because this one here says, curious eagle plucks photographer's drone from sky in North Queensland, sends cheeky selfie. A 1-second clip of a cheeky eagle peering into a camera is the only clue Matthew Wood has about what happened to his drone. The keen amateur photographer and videographer has been enjoying a day in the picturesque Pioneer Valley, west of Mackay in Queensland, when it all went wrong. And it says here, I was just flying along the grassy hills up there and it was looking really nice and really nice lighting. And then afterwards, based on a surprise, then the drone took a hit, he said. I was watching it all while it was connected to my controller, and all I saw was the camera pretty much looking at the ground as the eagle flew away with it. So, as evident, the eagle attacked it. So with this, some people are using this as an example to further their belief that drones should be banned, for example, in certain situations. This one here says, with drones becoming more affordable, many people are trying their hand at remotely piloted aviation. That's much to the dismay of Gisela Kaplan from the University of England. The drone is the saddest set of activities that humans have yet rendered against birds. We've taken the land from them. We were cutting down, roosting, and nesting trees. Professor Kaplan said, the airspace was the only place that was for the birds. I personally never understood the logic of that argument because with that mindset, you can say that about everything, isn't it? Why are you walking on any type of land, for example? Wasn't the animal there first? And it says, she said drones were not only dangerous, but very frightening for birds and often viewed as a threat. It can cut their legs off, and that's the end of their life for a raptor because they hunt with their feet. Some birds have adjusted to the city life and all of its noises, but this is a concentrated noise. It's like a jackhammer in the sky. And the person goes on saying, and drones are unpredictable. They can go forwards, backwards, and sideways, and that kind of unpredictability is almost impossible to adapt to. A comment made me think whether or not it's ignorance in a sense in terms of how people use a drone in general, like for the most part, because I would think if you're trying to capture something, for example, let's just say like an animal or something like that, you'd probably not want to disturb them, otherwise you'll quote miss the shot, correct? That kind of reminds me of when I went hiking before, and during that time there were certain people, they were really, I guess, paranoid about drones. Their perception was something like this: oh no, it's flying everywhere, it's going crazy. Like the lady's reaction to me at first was, how are you gonna control that thing? How are you gonna see like where it's going and all that? Like I'm showing her like, well, I have a screen here, it's like stable and all too. And then afterwards, once she sees the footage, then she's like, wow, this thing's fantastic. Can you come back another time? So yeah, it makes me wonder if that's just pure ignorance. And then with this person here, it says, Professor Kaplan has studied birds for more than 25 years and said that technology has evolved much more quickly than birds. And with that, the debate is, should it be restricted? And it says here, she has recommended that drones be banned from certain areas during nesting season. You don't allow fishing when there's spawning season, so you don't allow drones when there's breeding season because it will stop the birds from breeding, she said. For myself, for this type of stuff, it just comes down to consistency in my opinion. If you say this should be banned in this area and all that, and it makes sense, then I would say, okay, makes sense, just make sure you do that for everything else as well. Just as an example, if you say the reason is because of the quote noise, then I better not see anyone else, for example, with, I don't know, a weed whacker or someone using something to cut the grass that's so close to the tree where they're nesting and all that. It should be the exact same thing. If it's because of noise, for example, otherwise, it just comes across to me as you just don't want people to do it because you don't like it, and that's a completely different topic. Because it reminds me again how even the stuff that I capture, a lot of you comment, you're so shocked because people are wondering, hey, why isn't that duck or bird flying away? You have the drone right there. Because I'm flying it in a certain way, I understand the environment. That's why, for example, you see like those eagle footages, they just don't care, correct? They're just doing their business. I flew one just straight up and down from a tree. I'm capturing it. It looks awesome and it doesn't care. It really does come down to the environment too. Because for example, when I capture things like an eagle and so forth, it's actually around like a city area, so they're used to a lot of people and all that, which could be completely different. And let's just say in an area where there's not many people walking around usually, there's no vehicles and all that, so it's completely different as well. So that should be a factor overall. But again, it should come down to consistency. Because again, like that argument of, oh, the airspace belongs to the bird, like you guys shouldn't be using it at all, that's way too general and broad, because I could say the same thing. Man, you as a human, why are you even born? Why are you even getting out of the house? The animals, the insects were there first and so forth. I mean, it's the same thing. Like that's kind of ludicrous with that type of, I guess, argument. Guess the rain isn't stopping, huh? Which means no flying. I'll have to test for the archives today. It's still early in the year too, don't have much footage. right, see you guys later.